Hello everyone, Pallytum here. Welcome back to Diablo 3. This is the continuation of my free time series where we play Diablo 3 in our free time. Does anyone need a ring of royal grandeur? Because I have a lot of these. We have changed the gear setup just a little bit, but before we get to that, I was recording our Greater Rift 41 and I fucking cleared it, and I'm not kidding. The instant later my power goes out and I lose my audio file. I'm like, but I did it. Like, I could go to my leaderboard. Look. I could do this somehow, right? How do I see just myself? I don't know. Oh god, now we have to figure this out. Oh, tier 41, it says right at the top. Tier 41, and I cleared it with plenty of time. God, 62, Jesus, that's high. So we have changed up the armor just a little bit. Where's my old piece? Let's go ahead and put that over here, put this over here. So what have we changed? We are now rolling, this won't take long, don't worry. We're now rolling 2-piece Firebirds on our boots and offhand. We replaced our Nilfer's Boasts, which was a fantastic piece of gear that we've been using for the majority of the season. This increased the meteor damage, and then of course we get free meteors of every elemental type from our Telrasha's bonus. But my problem has not been damage, my problem has been survivability. So we're still keeping the 2-piece of Firebirds, so we have a cheat death. We are now using the Pauldrons of the Skeleton King, which is why I have so many of these fucking rings. I was running Act Run bounties trying to get this, and I couldn't get it to save my life. And it rolled decently well. We got 13% Hydra damage on it before I ran out of mats. Previously here, we used to have our Firebirds gloves, or excuse me, shoulders and gloves. Our gloves are now Telrasha's, so we can keep our 6-piece set bonus for that. It is a different setup. We are using Ransler's Folly, which allows our Energy Twister to suck things up. We're using this instead of the Teleport. But other than that, nothing's changed. We just switched around some gear and swapped in a new ability instead of having a Teleport. Now, that does make us very susceptible to things like Wallers, for instance, but I'm hoping having 3 cheat deaths is going to more than make up for that. So, we are attempting a... Oh my god, I already died. What? Okay, so we are attempting a Greater Rift 42. You can see I wanted the extra cheat deaths because we are so damn susceptible to damage. We already used one of our cheat deaths. This one is coming from our passive. That's the Unstable Anomaly or whatever it's called. And that's just going to make it so instead of dying, we push enemies away. We have a chance for our shoulders to bring us back up to a certain threshold of health and then fear enemies away when we die. So hopefully we get that effect relatively often. And then, of course, the Firebirds effect, which instead of dying, we turn into a meteor and just slam down on the ground to deal that extra damage to people. I can't deal damage when I'm dead, and that's really the conclusion I came to at the end of the day. Having more survivability is more than going to make up for the fact that I can't deal enough damage to just instantly kill things anymore. Or at least that's the goal. That's what we're going for here. I'm already not super happy with this setup. Oh, red zombies though. Those red zombies though. Red zombies give a lot of rift progress and they die really easy, so I'm happy with that. But if we continue to get ghosts, I struggle with ghosts. I've spoken about this before, but I can't remember if it was in the last video that got lost. I struggle with ghosts because they deal a very small amount of damage over time. This setup of gear is basically geared to mitigate a high amount of damage at one time. So with Force Armor, if I could take 10 billion damage in health with Force Armor, and it'll only deal 35% of my maximum health or something, 33%, something like that. So the idea is with Force Armor, we're able to mitigate high amounts of damage at one time. However, let's go ahead and just pick up this shield pylon here. We can start to play a bit more aggressive, kind of move through here faster. I am definitely noticing the damage loss from our change in boots, so that may be something we have to revisit. But if I take small amounts of damage quickly, it will very easily eat through my entire health reserve. So those ghost enemies that we fought right at the beginning, very, very, very hard for me to deal with. Especially because you can't really dodge that damage. The only way I can mitigate that is by jumping in with that blizzard, making sure they get frozen, and then hoping for the best after that. Gonna try to just use this tornado to group up as much stuff as we can, and we'll start progressing through this 42 as fast as possible. That's a dead end. Oh, we have a conduit. We have a conduit pylon. Alright, I'll just keep grouping everything up. I'll move through here, stack up as many enemies as I can, and get some really good progress on this timer. If you haven't noticed, Greater Rift 42 is my new goal for this season, because the last 2 goal attempts have been met off camera, unfortunately. We do have a yellow pack right here. Should be able to freeze them and keep them controlled on this bridge. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. Looks like we have to fall back just a little bit. I've only had to use one of my cheat deaths throughout this episode. Here's my second one right now. And potentially, if we were to be taken below us, if we were to be killed again, we would just pop back up to high health and fear everything around us. I haven't actually seen that effect. I've never used these particular shoulders before, but hopefully they work on a relatively high basis, because I'm definitely feeling the damage drop. But again, you can't deal damage if you're dead. Oh, blue pack. We have fire chains, electrified, fast, and molten. So because they're fast, we're going to have to keep them crowd controlled a little bit more. Just keep spamming these blizzards on top of them. We need to get a second Dynamo Hydra out, which we just did. And then we just have to shoot and scoot. These guys have really long auto attack animations. So as long as we avoid that auto attack animation, we should be fine. And yeah, we take these guys out no problem. No problem at all. Give me those purple orbs. Oh, we got another blue pack. Seriously, same pack as well. These are Vortex, Electrified, Plagued, and Illusionist. So once again, stacking up the Arcane Dynamo Hydras. We just got hit really hard. Here's another Hydra, and we'll just try to keep these guys frozen on the other side of the screen. Kind of hard to tell which ones are the real ones because they're Illusionists, but we'll just keep using Blizzard in that pack and kind of hope for the best. We just had another one of my cheat deaths proc. That was the Unstable Anomaly. We need more Hydras. See, this is where Blink would kind of come in handy, but because our gear is so defensive all of a sudden, we're not dying. Another thing worth noting is my old boots, the Nilfer's Boasts, I believe they were called, the ones that boost my meteor damage, they did not have movement speed on them at all. So in my Paragon levels, I had to spend my first 50 points in my Paragon levels upping my movement speed, because the cap is 25, and that's maximum you can get in your Paragon. Well, the cap's not 25, but the... Oh, we have our first death. Okay. The cap on boots, I guess. You can get other effects that will stack on top of that. But... Oh, I have another death there. Maybe I need to focus a little bit more. We do have these ghosts coming out again, and we're falling into that trap that I was speaking of earlier, where they just kind of kill me. They don't do enough damage for my force shield thing to mitigate it, and we just die. I think we're good. Let me get my 5-stack ready to go before we move on, so I can just drop that, instantly crowd control with the tornado on top of that, and then keep moving. Keep moving. Channeling Pylon. Doesn't really help me much. We do have some reflect damage electrified guys up here. That could be a bit of a problem. We're just going to kite back to my Hydras. Try to freeze these guys on top of the Hydras. Try to suck them in with tornadoes. I don't think the tornadoes work very often on blue packs. Tornadoes are more for general trash control. Here we go. Both my cheat deaths proccing. If we get another one, it's going to be from my shoulders. That electrified damage is actually doing a lot. I'm going to have to bring these guys back through to my Hydras. And unfortunately, that is our second death. But we have 7 minutes to go. We're about halfway through the rift. And you can see I'm really, really far away. Or really, really close to this rift actually ending. I'm feeling okay about this. Let's go ahead, stack up the Hydras, and then we're going to pull these guys back into it. So here we go. Get their attention. Get out of that electrify. We can grab this health orb here. And then just freeze them right on top of those Hydras. And that is a ton of damage. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Let's keep moving. We got to keep up a good pace. Speed pylon here. We can just gather some stuff up with this. Speed Pylon also does a little bit of damage, but that's really never what you use it for. We have a decent pack here, so let's drop a Hydra, Tornado on top of it, and then Blizzard on top of that Tornado. I don't think I mentioned it. Because of our bracers, we have these Ransler's Folly. That's what's stacking everything up on our Tornadoes. They don't normally do that. But our bracers are giving us a little bit more control. Previously, like I said, I recorded the last video. I don't remember if I mentioned it in that one or the video prior to that. But I used to have the bracers that would reduce my damage taken based on how many people around me were stunned. I find that the Tornado just increases my survivability a lot more than that damage reduction stuff does. Again, I think part of that has to do with just the way that that the Force Armor works. But we're coming to the end of Greater Rift 42. We have a ton of time remaining, and a boss is very imminent. I'm glad I finally went ahead and did this. I've been thinking about this particular gear setup for a while, wondering if it would be better, and this is actually my first test run. I haven't tested this at all, and it's working out really, really well. I definitely noticed the lack of meteor damage, like that's very apparent, but Hydras are where a lot of my damage comes from anyway. Now this guy is actually going to kill me a lot. Very hard for me to deal with this particular boss. Those AoEs there can deal a lot of damage, and then he has just a straight up teleport that he can jump right on top of me with. So, that right there. So it basically just fucking instantly kills me. Look at that. Well, how is he dealing... That was his AoE. That hit me for 35% health because of my shield. So how is he dealing more than that? Is he hitting me twice? Is it a teleport and then an auto attack? Because honestly, that shouldn't be killing me. I'm just trying to cycle through all the elements right now. We do still really rely on that meteor. Look, he hit me for a million. My energy armor should be stopping that. We have 3 minutes, 45 seconds. He's at about half health. I definitely noticed the damage difference from switching out our boots on single targets like this, because we were getting 200% meteor damage bonuses before, and now we're just not. And I definitely noticed. So, see, that straight up killed me. That shouldn't be happening. Unless he's doing multiple attacks when he lands. I'm actually really confused why that's a thing. We have him in a really good spot with these Hydras, though. And the constant blizzards are keeping him relatively crowd controlled right now. But going into this boss, like I said, I was expecting deaths because of that teleport. It's really... I can't do much about that. Alright! There you go! Greater Rift 42! And I have it recorded. The audio's running. Oh my god, am I actually going to post a record attempt where I actually beat our record? Oh my god. It's finally going to happen. Okay, so we are going to go with... let's go with Bane of the Trapped. Let's do 1 Bane of the Trapped and 2 for the pet. 2 for the Enforcer. Boom. And... boom. So that means our pets, our Hydras, are dealing 26.7% damage. Not bad at all. Let's get out of this rift. Let's go back to town. That was my record-breaking attempt for Greater Rift 42. If I don't seem as excited as you... Oh, I am excited, first of all. I think I do seem excited. But when I broke 40, I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And when I broke 41, I was screaming at the top of my lungs. But subsequently, I lost both of those videos for unrelated reasons, obviously. But Greater Rift 42. Now the question is, do I make a new character because we have achieved our goal for this season? Or do I keep trying to surpass this goal? I'm not too sure which one I want to do. We may be seeing a Barbarian come out because I'm actually really interested in the spin-to-win playstyle. I want to give it a go. We may see a Crusader come out. But I'm not sure. We'll see what happens in the next episode. I'm going to make it a surprise. I'm going to leave you all on the edge of your seats. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Finally, we beat a record. And I'm going to be able to show it on a video. I hope. It's not storming outside. I mean, the only bad thing that could happen is, like, my hard drive fails. So I'm going to stop talking before that happens. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe. And I'll see you all next time.